Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spiral Offcast. My name is Danny.
And my name is Cruz.
Welcome on in. This is podcast number 11.
That's right, episode 11. Did you think we'd make it this far? Because you should have.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't believe in us?
We have limitless potential for this sort of thing. So fasten your seatbelts, buckle in for another crazy-filled episode.
Because this eposode goes plus ultra.
Oh, I was going to say even further beyond. Yes. Back at it again with the My Hero Academia.
That's it.
That's right. You all
Return to form.
Yes, you all should have expected it, seeing as how I specifically said we would come back to academia.
You should have expected it because I said it.
Exactly. And if you didn't expect it, joke's on you.
Joke's on you. You're in it now.
Yeah, you get
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle on in. Yes, so we're doing academia. It's been a little while. It's been about 7 podcasts, I think.
It's been a minute since the last one.
It's been a minute,
Yeah,
and that's totally fine.
Yeah, but on the bright side, we've had a lot of things happening in this open area in between the last My Hero Academia podcast episode.
Yes.
So,
a lot has happened both in the real world as well as
the digital world.
The internet. A lot has happened. A lot of time has passed, and so we have gone back. Chris has gone back, revisited, and finished season 1 of My Hero Academia.
I finished it. Y'all laughed at me.
He did it. He's done it now, and we're going to talk about it. Before we talk about it, I did want to say welcome to anyone who's just tuning in for the first time. If you're tuning in, please check out some of our other videos, specifically podcasts 1 and 3, where we talked about My Hero Academia, as well as some of our other podcasts. Last episode, we did a really spicy one on Mr. Junji Ito.
Oh, yeah.
That was a super quality one.
And if that's not your speed, we have, the ever flavorful Dragon Ball GT.
We got GT. We got Goblin Slayer. Yeah. We talk about other animes.
Yeah, we're a bunch of goofy guys that just sit around and talk about anime, video games, and whatever.
Yeah, so we got a lot of those. So check those out. While you're at it, check out some of our other gaming videos here on Core 4 Gaming. You got some sick-ass playthroughs to peruse around.
Cruise and peruse for views that you have to give to us with your eyes.
And ears. You're listening.
You're listening.
You can hear us.
Yeah, I got a lot of cool games on there. We've played what do we play?
We've played Shadow of the Colossus. We've played
we played Spider-Man. We got a bunch of Spider-Man on there.
We got a couple Fall Guys on there. We got a bunch of stuff. We got a lot of horror games.
We got a crazy variety. I think it's at least like well over 100 videos at this point.
Is it really?
Maybe. I don't.
Yeah, because it's been about a year, right? It's been a year.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes, so please,
if that seems like your thing, yeah.
Give us a look, give it a watch. But obviously after this episode. So with that out of the way, let's get down to it. So
get our backpacks, get our books. We're heading back.
We're back to academia. Here we go. Yeah. So for reference, last time we talked about My Hero Academia, Chris had watched up through episode 7. Episodes 1 through 7 basically covered the beginning of the show. Izuku Midoriya getting his quirk one for all from the mighty All Might, basically passing the exam, joining the UA. The Hero Academia. We get to meet all sorts of colorful characters, including but not limited to the wonderful Miss Uraka, the very intelligent and kind Tenya Ida, and of course everyone's favorite little shithead Kachan, Bakugo,
fucking little ball of rage,
little ball of fucking whatever. but we also met a bunch of other characters as well. And yeah, basically that amount went through the first 7 episodes. The specific last episode we talked about was the big face-off between Midoriya and Bakugo during their little training.
The mock villain hero.
The mock hero villain training exercise. And that was a lot of fun. But that was the last episode we talked about. So, the ones we're going to be talking about today are episodes 8 through 13.
Literally, episodes 8 to the end of the season.
Yeah, out till the end of season 1. This is wrapping up, basically, Chris, your big introduction to My Hero Academia. I always think that the first season of this show is this is the introduction to everything.
It is. If you finish just season 1, it is very much the season that is the setup for the entire show.
It really is. And I mean, speaking as someone who is completely caught up with the show, and I rewatched season 1 just for this podcast, it's weird because you can kind of organize the season based on their arcs and be like, oh, this arc and then this arc and this arc. Season 1 is very much because you kind of because you have the tournament arc, you have this villain arc, the first season, the 13 episodes is kind of just the introduction arc. It's kind of just welcome to UA.
This is how the world works.
Yeah, it's basically that, not in a bad way by any means. It's just that is very much how the first season works. But I specifically wanted you to stop at episode 7 because these last few episodes introduce some pretty big stuff, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So,
a
lot, and I think without further ado, Chris,
we'll take it away. We'll finish this the way we started.
Together. That's such an obscure joke that we keep making.
It is. It's so good though.
Oh my god, have we said it in the videos?
No, that's the first time.
Is it really?
That's not only a core 4 first, but it's a spiral off first.
Wow.
Ding.
Ding. Should we provide context for it?
Nah.
We'll let them guess.
It simmer. You guess what it is. Put it in the comments below.
Someone who guesses it right gets a like out of us.
Yeah, we'll heart your comment. We'll heart your comment. We may even respond.
I wouldn't mind responding. Be like, ding, 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 you win the prize.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy right
there. He is. Look at him.
He understood that reference.
Yeah. Or she. Who knows?
Whoever it is.
Yes. You did it.
You did it. You can take that home with you.
You did good, kid. You did good.
You did good. But, so.
Let's do this. Yes.
Season 1. Holy crap. Took a turn. Gonna be honest. Episode 8 was very much the very mellow aftermath of what was the hype of 7, with Bakugo and Midoriya just fighting each other, and then Midoriya literally seconds away from actually killing Bakugo,
probably maybe just a bit.
And this episode is just everyone basically just likes Midoriya.
Yeah,
because they're all like, yo, we see how you put Bakugo in his place, and it was just it was so cool, man, you're so cool, your quirk's pretty cool too. And Midoriya's just is this friends?
Poor Midoriya. I forget that sometimes, that he really did start this show not having any friends.
Yep.
And he got told to go jump off the roof of a building. Really strange beginning, but yeah, no, I forget that sometimes that. But it is really nice to see them all reach out to him and be want to be his friends.
They all approached him, and it was very sweet. And it's just oh, look at him, he's
look at it, he's speaking friends.
Right, and it's just that's really cool. And then Bakugo is just fuming, basically just latched onto the idea that Midoriya has lied to him about having a quirk. He's he kept it a secret. He didn't tell me. Did he lie to me this whole time?
It's such a needy girlfriend mentality. It's he didn't tell me he had a quirk. It's just calm down, my boy.
Right? It's if anyone else didn't tell him about their quirk, he wouldn't care. But Midoriya hiding the quirk just irks his quirk so much.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It is.
Poor little Bakugo.
And this ends up being a pretty quick episode.
It is. This one is relatively
because
quick.
it just focuses on the aftermath of that encounter.
It shows the other students and how they fared with their hero villain exercise.
Yeah, and one thing was that we saw Todoroki for the first time
Yeah,
do his thing. And I'm just like, wow, is this guy overpowered?
Dude.
he walks into the training scenario, doesn't even actually enter the building yet.
Yeah.
Freezes the entire thing, and just waltzes in. It's just like, I win.
I want a compilation of all the times Todoroki it just fucking like sweeps the floor in an exam or in some sort of situation, because it happens quite a bit in the beginning. I don't remember. Did he have the look where like his one side was completely frozen?
Not at this part.
Not at this part.
He.
Because I thought
Wait, no, he did.
He did.
He did have it, but after this episode, he never had it again.
Okay, yeah, no, I wanted to bring that up because I had completely forgotten that, because no, he ditches that look completely, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad.
I think it was kind of just to kind of mask for the viewers.
Yeah.
That's the way I was taking it, as like they don't want to show like he's half red and have people like immediately assume, oh, he's gonna have fire.
Yeah,
but it's like they don't.
It just looks strange. Honestly,
it looks like Cyborg.
I was gonna say he kind of looks like Cyborg from like Teen Titans or like the Terminator or something. Just like that red eye. It's like, what the fuck is that?
But God, he's so cool.
Yeah, no, he's cool because it's an ice power. 10 out of 10 comedy, guys.
But what was it? That guy. They never explained his power, but I think he looked like a kangaroo. He has like the tail and
the tail. Oh God, what's his name? I know who you're talking about. That's his quirk.
No, I know it's his quirk. Obviously,
he has a tail.
But it's just like,
oh no, what's his name? I forget his name. Characters. There we go. Characters.
I'm gonna be honest. Forgiveness in advance that I don't remember a lot of their names right now.
It's okay. You're still
in this episode. This episode and the next episode, 8 and 9, they threw out all of these characters' names in such quick succession. Mm-hmm. Like when all of the class came up to Midoriya to be like, "Hey, you're pretty cool." They all gave out their name, and I'm like,
yeah, no, okay. You're still starting, so it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly acceptable.
That's funny. You're just like, you're new. It's okay.
It's okay.
You're new here. You don't know yet.
You don't. It's all good. I'm looking up the name. Wait, is it Ojiro? That was his name. Yeah, student whose quirk tail grants him a thick tail. That's his quirk, is the tail.
Yeah.
He's also really good at like being like athletic and whatnot. It's kind of, you get to see him like more like in action like later on when you see more like more of these like student like exercise and whatnot. He seems like pretty athletic. So.
Yeah. In this one though, like no offense to him in episode 8, but my God, was he useless. But then also he was going up against Todoroki, so it's like,
I know there's okay. I won't spoil it, but
because we're talking about
no. I was gonna say like in the next season there is one thing where Todoroki is put up against a different student, and it is such a like wow, like y'all didn't even try to like give them a chance. Like come on.
Because when he freezes the building, Ojiro's like feet get frozen to the floor.
Yep.
And Todoroki just walks past him, and he's like, "No, you can try to attack me, but it will probably rip the skin off your feet or something, and you're not gonna want to have to do that. You're not gonna want to walk with that or something like some like snarky comment." As he just walked past and just like touches the bomb within like seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
Who was his partner? I forget who his partner was.
I don't actually remember what his partner was, because I think it just went too quick.
Because this part was relatively quick, like these other students in their matchups.
We saw, oh man, I feel bad. The guy with he like can do like the hardness.
Oh, Kirishima.
Yeah.
The red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like he was there. And then there were a couple other characters. Like we saw Was this? I think this is where we saw the pink girl for the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time we saw her, but
No, I'm saying like we saw like her quirk.
Ashido.
Yeah.
Yes. Mina Ashido, but
because Ashido was walking past the belly button laser guy.
Him, yeah. Wait. Let me see if I can find him too. No, not him. It's that other person. But yes, I know who you're talking about. Oh, I don't know how you pronounce this. Aoyama.
Aoyama, yeah.
What is it?
Aoyama.
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 That one.
Aoyama Yuga.
Yeah.
But so Ashido walks past him, and he's got his cape and everything, and he's so proud of his cape.
He is.
He keeps talking about it in this episode. He's like, I'm look pretty cool. And then Ashido walks past him, and like some sort of like acid comes off of her or some shit and like burns his cape a little bit, and he's like sad, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then that's the last thing we see. So that's just like the like hint at what her power is.
Because that's her thing is like acid or something like that.
And then we saw Sue, a little bit, but not much. It was kind of like still like the rough introduction. And that finished, and everyone went back to class, and that's when all the classmates came up to Midoriya and were like, "Oh, you're so cool."
Yeah.
So look at that, full circle, back around. But the big thing that I took away from this episode was fucking Kachan, fucking Bakugo, realized just how close he came to probably fucking dying or losing.
Because Midoriya's thing, like where he just destroyed like 3 levels to that building they were in.
Yep, in like a second. And like Bakugo's just like pissed. He's like, why didn't he tell me? Like, he's been keeping this a secret. But then he started to like think about it, and he's like, wait, like that's really fucking strong. And then he's like, are you telling me that if I fought him head on, like 1-on-1, and he's like talking to himself, like, are you telling me that fucking Midoriya would have beaten me? Would he have, like, he's like, I could have been like beaten, he probably could have killed me. And that just like pissed him off more. And then he started thinking about the other ones. He thought about Todoroki, and he's like, that dude can like freeze. How the fuck do I fight that?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't even compete with that at all. And then he's like thinking about these other guys, and he's just like, so down on himself that he's like, it really like kind of squished that ego a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. Not enough to make a difference, but enough to be like, hey, you're not the only hot shit around here anymore.
Yeah. Hot shit because he's fire.
Explosions, actually. Thank you. Actually, he secretes a liquid.
The sweat
that can actually
liquid nitrogen.
That he ignites. Liquid nitrogen.
Whatever.
Nitroglycerin. Liquid nitrogen is what you freeze stuff with.
It's fine. Close enough.
It's fine. Move on. Edit this out. Just kidding. This is funny. But no, so he's doing that, and that's the whole thing. And Midoriya feels bad.
He does.
Midoriya feels actually guilty because he's like, I didn't want to lie to him. I just like, it is what it is. And
sometimes it really do be like that.
Sometimes it really do, Kachan.
I like that he feels bad for this kid that like told him to go kill himself and was also just a really horrible bully through the years. It's like,
and used this ultimate attack indoors in the last episode that could have like fucking nuked him down.
Yeah.
And Midoriya's just like, I feel bad for him.
It's like, oh, Midoriya.
It's like, oh, you're too good.
He is. He's a little angel.
Yeah, and then he goes outside and he literally tells Bakugo his fucking quirk.
I was gonna say, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because I'm like watching this, and he's telling him like, so I want to tell you, and Kachan, fucking Bakugo's just like, what do you want? And he's like, I just want to tell you that, I didn't lie to you. He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, this quirk isn't even mine. I inherited it from somebody else, but I can't tell you who. I'm trying to make it my own. That's why I can't control it yet, because my body's not used to it. That's why it's like this. And Bakugo's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
He's very much just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's just like, what are you babbling about? And then Midoriya's like, just telling him all this stuff. And it's like, I'm just like, what the are you doing?
Yeah, I know. It was straight up.
Like, part of me is like, I know Bakugo's like not really listening because he's just like mad. But at the same time, it's like, Midoriya, shut up.
Midoriya, this is the last person you want to talk about your quirk to.
Right? He's just out in the open. Even if Bakugo doesn't care, he's like, what's to say like 8 other kids aren't sitting in the area
What
listening?
if like a shady person was in the bushes and heard this shit?
It's just like, what? So yeah, he tells her that, and then he doesn't really believe him and everything.
Yeah.
And then Bakugo basically yells back at him in confidence that he's like, no, I'm gonna surpass all of you. I'm gonna be better. And it's like, there's his motivation.
There it is.
There it is, a little solid. And then fucking All Might comes out and runs over to Bakugo and just like hugs him.
I know.
He's just like, young Bakugo, let me tell you, you don't have to be sad, stuff like that. And Bakugo's like, get off of me.
It was a very relatable moment. It's like, oh.
Okay. And then All Might's like, so Midoriya, what'd you tell Bakugo, huh? What were you talking about? And Midoriya's like, what? And he's like, no, please, tell me in detail what exactly you were just talking to Bakugo about.
Literally.
And that was the end of the episode, but it was just like, it was a really interesting end. And I did think it was kind of funny that All Might knew exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
yeah. And I mean, like, thankfully, it's like one of those things where it's like he's not gonna be the kind of kid that like listens to him or whatever, but it's also just like, dude, don't take risks like that. Don't risk that.
please don't do that again. Very much, thank you. But that was like the chill episode. And then episode 9 came in, and it felt kind of like another chill episode, but it was more class focused.
Yeah.
I like that it was literally just like vote your class president episode. Because Uraraka, based on her performance, I think either performance or they voted, she became the class president.
She did?
Yeah, she was. I'm thinking of the right one, right? The girl with the ponytail.
No, Uraraka is the gravity girl.
Shit.
I knew you were
What's
wrong.
her first name?
Who? Uraraka? Ochiko. Or
Yeah,
it might be the other way around.
No, I know Ochiko. Oh my god. See, I'm new here, guys.
He's learning.
I know Ochiko.
Ochiko Uraraka.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of
You were thinking of Momo.
yes,
Momo Yaoyorozu.
Yaoyorozu.
Yes. That's who you were thinking
That's what
of.
I was thinking of.
Yes,
yeah.
the girl with the big ponytail.
Shut the fuck up. She has very huge potential.
Yes.
Listen, okay?
Very
So-
eye-pleasing personality.
So, they're basically picking class representatives, and oh my god, I just forgot his name. I blanked on it just now.
Who?
The speed guy. Leg engines.
Tenya, Ida.
I'm sorry. This is
First of all, it's not even him that gets picked first.
No, I know. I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm saying when they brought up the topic in the class, he was like, "I want to do this.
Yes,
I want it," and he like raises his hand higher than anyone else, and he's basically just like, I want to be the one. And he's like, but then he suggests voting on it instead of, just everybody say whoever they want.
Right.
Which is sort of the same thing, but different.
Yeah.
I guess. And then everyone's like, oh, well, why wouldn't you just vote for yourself at that point? And the votes come back, and it's literally Midoriya and Momo that get picked, and Tenya does not get picked, but he voted for somebody else too. Yeah. So he didn't even vote for himself. And he was literally the least amount of votes.
Oh.
And it was sad. But that's okay. And Midoriya is like, what? I don't want this.
Yeah. Actually, that is something that I'll probably touch back on a little bit, but I do actually like that although Midoriya does get picked, he doesn't want it, nor does he fit the bill well for it. Like,
no.
Because the thing is, like, he's our main protagonist, but our main protagonist doesn't need to be perfect at everything, nor do they need to be, like, every single, like, oh, this thing has happened, they should do it.
They're fully capable of every situation they're put in.
Exactly. And I'm glad that wasn't the case for Midoriya. I'm glad that they were like, okay, no, he's not. He's good at certain things, but this is not one of those things.
Yeah, I'm on his boat. Like, fuck that. I don't want to be, like, the class representative. I'm like, nah.
You're like, nah.
I don't even like giving speeches in front of classes, like presentations.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, no, I was the class representative, and I also loved to give speeches.
Then I would hand it over to you, and then
I was the Tenya in this case.
Right, and I will go punch things. But basically, he gets put into it. Midoriya's like, oh god, this is awkward. I don't like this. And...
Meanwhile, I do want to point out was that Aizawa was the one who's like, you guys need to pick a class president, and they're all discussing this, and Aizawa literally doesn't give a single shit. He's like, just pick someone.
It's like, just pick it. And he's like in his sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And he's just like, just do it. I don't really care what you guys decide. And it's like, yeah, that could make sense, because like, he's like a hero.
Yeah.
This is like... In the vision of it, this is like children literally deciding something so minuscule compared to like what he probably deals with on a daily basis as a hero.
Yeah.
Like there are people out there like doing crime. And meanwhile his students are bickering about who's gonna be the president. It's just like, I don't care.
Who's gonna announce the class announcements?
Yeah, do roll call.
Who's gonna do roll call? Someone has to. We need a leader.
We need one.
Who's gonna tell you the weekly lunch schedule?
Guys, today it's a healthy serving of justice with a side kick of applesauce.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
See, if I were class president, that's what I would have done.
Every day, justice and applesauce.
Hell yeah.
But basically, that's like the first half of this episode is that. But the real like turning point is when the alarm, the fire alarm goes off, basically. But it's not a fire alarm. It's like
a whole like lockdown alarm thing.
Yeah, it's like an intruder alarm sort of thing. And everyone's like, what the hell? And they're all panicking. Horribly panicking.
Everyone's losing their shit.
And they come over the announcement and they're basically just telling like, hey, everybody, fucking relax. Or not relax, but just like...
Stop.
Yeah.
Cease.
And it was interesting because I know they were probably trying to imply it, but I'm watching it and I'm like, these are all people who are going to try to be heroes, and the second it hits the fan, they all panic and don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool because it makes sense. They're a bunch of teenagers who are learning this.
And they're also like first years and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's cool to see that they're not all just, oh, let's go be heroes right now.
Yeah.
They're scared and they're learning and they're in school basically. So it's not real to them yet.
Right.
But anyway, so the fire alarm goes off. There's an intruder, and everyone's like, "Yo, what?" And full panic. And Tenya's the one that has the 200 IQ to come up with a 500 IQ plan.
Yeah, no, everyone was over here playing Go Fish, and Tenya was playing 3D chess.
It's like, weaklings. Yeah, so he realizes, like he's got to do something to calm everybody down and get some sort of control. But he does notice outside that there's a crowd in the distance.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wonder if that's what this is. And then he notices it's the news media. So then in his mind, he's like, oh, it's just the news media. Like, nobody's actually, like, there's no actual situation.
Yeah.
So he's like, everybody can relax, but everyone's panicking. So he's like, I gotta figure it out.
Whoa, I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. I'm sorry. I was trying to hold it back, and I was like, no, it's coming.
Bless your ears at home.
It wasn't that bad of a spike.
You have been blessed.
You didn't even say bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can we get a bless you in the comments?
Yes. Okay, anyways, you were saying.
So Tenya's basically just, I gotta calm everybody down. So he's super smart and realizes, oh, if he can get to a higher position and if I can get everybody's attention, whatever. So he finds Ochiko, and he's basically like, you gotta make me float. I have an idea.
You'll float too. You'll float too.
He did float too.
I like to imagine that's just her. Like when she has to use her powers, she's like, "You'll float too. You'll float too."
Just a darker Ochiko.
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
And so Tenya, they like slap fingertips, and he's floating. And then he uses his like leg powers, and he's just spinning in circles like a donut.
Yeah.
And like kind of moving forward at the same time. It's like completely ridiculous. And he lands at the fire door exit sign.
Yeah.
And he's standing up there, and he's just like shouting at everybody to calm down. And everyone's like, what? Okay. And they all stop. And it's like, he did it. He was a good boy. He was a hero.
Tenya is a good boy.
Yeah, he did the good job.
Yeah.
He looked, he thought, he calmly assessed the situation. And once everything calmed down, Midoriya actually said that he should be the class representative instead of him.
Yeah.
Because of the way he performed during that whole scenario. And everybody else agreed too. They're like, yeah, Tenya was pretty cool when he did that. And he looked like the guy on the exit sign. And that was the thing. It's just because he was like positioned in a weird way.
Yeah.
So that was neat. But then at the end, after that was the interesting part.
Yes. Explain.
Was the news media was actually there looking for All Might.
Yeah.
And the two teachers that were out there were basically like, well, All Might's not here, so go away. And they're like, no, we have information saying that he's actually here. And they're like, no, he's not. Leave.
Be gone.
And eventually the news media leaves, and they find out that the gate's broken down and everything. And they're like, news media, dumb. But then they think about it, they're like, well, wonder if somebody actually was able to slip inside. Like, wonder if this was a distraction or something.
Like, what?
And it's like, interesting.
Huh?
What does this mean?
What?
And I didn't notice it right away, but you brought it up like twice.
Yes.
About the figure.
There's a figure. Here's the thing. I thought it was in episode 8, like something like them watching something, or it might have been episode 9. I don't remember. It was one of those two. But you get a behind shot of a silhouette of a strange, mysterious figure, just kind of like looking like in the direction of the school, and you're very much like, what is that mysterious figure? Like, what is that? And who is that? And that's like your first little sneak peek is like, what is that? and that comes up, but
yep. And then that's the end of the episode.
was that the end of 9? Was it the end of episode 9, or was it them heading to the training exercise? Because I thought it was them heading to the training exercise.
I'm not 100% clear on if they referenced the training exercise at the end, or if it was right at the beginning. I'm pretty sure it was. I feel like it was at the beginning of 10. They were like, "All right, guys, here's what we're gonna do today."
Because I rewatched those episodes, and I thought I started on 10, and they were already like things were already going down. So let me just pull it up real quick. We're very organized here on this podcast here.
Yeah, super.
That's this.
Oh God.
No, it's just because I want to get this information right.
No, of course.
Why are you giving me season 3? I want season 1.
Accuracy is key. Okay, so we have the facts now, and the facts are that I was just watching it too much, and I forgot when episodes ended and the next one began.
It's okay.
I was too streamlining my process.
Yes. So episode 9 isn't over yet.
No, it's not. It's not over yet. Calm down. You guys are already upset about it. Relax. Stop it. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
I guess we could have looked up when that other thing was, but it doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's fine. At the end of, Lita becoming the class representative. I think it's the same thing. And the mysterious figure.
Yeah, whatever.
Then it basically cuts to, hey, our next school activity.
Yeah.
So last week you guys did what was it they referenced in the first test with Aizawa was testing the limits of their quirk.
Yeah, that whole thing with
pushing it to that.
Yeah.
Then the second test was in the building.
It was the hero villain one.
Yeah, where they were testing your abilities in a confined, realistic-ish environment.
Yeah.
Where you have to consider other factors, not just full force of your quirk.
Yeah.
And so they were like, this time we're going to focus on using your powers to help people. So we are going to go to the unforeseen simulation joint, which I totally remembered.
Wow.
It's USJ.
Damn, you did it.
It's pretty cool. It's this fun, they do this badass shot where it's this entire indoor dome of several different areas. They reference rock slides. There's a shipwreck. There's a little lake in there with a boat. And it's just
you got fire in one area. You got a storm, a rainstorm in another area.
And it's super cool. And it's these different areas and different scenarios to be, rescue heroes in.
They're also chaperoned by not only Mr. Aizawa, but they're also chaperoned by another hero, actually seeing for the first time, Hero 13.
Legendary Hero 13.
Just this lady in a spacesuit, basically.
Lady in a spacesuit.
We never see what she actually looks like.
Nope, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of when I saw her was it's like Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
That's the impression I got, because she seemed really nice and caring, but she's also she has seen some shit.
Yeah.
And then they talk about her quirk. When they ask oh, that's 13, they're like, oh, she's the one with the black hole ability.
Yeah.
That could soak up anything. And it's that's pretty crazy. But they just talk about it and then they move on.
Yeah.
And it's wait a minminute, hold on.
Wait a second, hold on. Go back a little bit. Black holes?
Excuse me? That's very strong.
That's pretty OP.
Right? And she's just yeah, so you guys here gonna learn a lot of different self-defense. Not self-defense. Jesus, what am I talking about? Rescuing. Defending other selves.
Yeah.
And that kind of training. And I was like, hell yeah, that's cool.
Here we
I
go.
like this area. I was like, oh, there's gonna be so many cool little things that happen here.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what happened.
Not really, is
We
it?
did not get the rescue training exactly the way that the curriculum was written.
No.
No, a bunch of party crashers.
Not just any party crashers. Got some motherfucking villains. We have an invasion of villains that come into the dome, the big old thunder dome. A mysterious portal opens in front of the gang, and
A mysterious portal opens, and what spills out? The entire ninth layer of hell.
yes, all these like villains, and it's funny because the kids are like, "Whoa, this is weird. Is this part of the training exercise?" And then like Aizawa and 13 are like, "Get back! These are villains."
Oh yeah, no, that shit was it's so cool. This episode was like fucking nuts. Like,
Well, this is like the end of the episode.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, this shit is where the switch for this show was like officially flipped.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, wait, what? And so they show the shots of all the villains like walking out, and they're all fucking crazy looking. Like, they're all so different. Some of them are really fucking weird. And most of them look dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, the kids are just like, what's going on? And you just see Aizawa like puts his goggles on, and it's like, oh. Okay, this is not good. Get back. And then it's like, now I gotta watch the next episode.
Yeah, no, now you're like,
God,
you gotta do
it's
it.
like, I gotta do it. But Aizawa is kicking ass
Yeah.
right out the gate when they show up. Like, he doesn't hesitate. He goes right into action, and it's really fucking cool seeing his quirk in practical use, and not just like the one time we saw it in the training. It's like, no, he's using them to stop all their quirks and then beat the shit out of them, and then switch to other people, take their quirks out, and he keeps doing this. And he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, fucking hype.
No, Aizawa kicks so much ass in this show. Like, when he's like an awesome teacher, but then when he has to be a hero, it's like, no, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, and
He's really sick.
Oh, and he's single-handedly beating up a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
He dove straight to the center of the area where they were all coming in, and he's just like fucking fighting multiple people at the same time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 13's like trying to like protect the kids and everything, and be like, yeah, this isn't good. And they were trying to call out, but there was no signal going out of the
signal
dome.
was jammed.
So they were like, we have no communication. Like, there's no way to get out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So, I think at that point, that's when, what's his name? The purple smoky boy.
Purple smoky boy. Kirogiri.
Kirogiri.
Yes, he is the
Kurogiri.
Kurogiri. I'm gonna pull up the name just to make sure that was the one. But yes, so the purple smoke guy. His quirk is basically being a warp gate, being able to teleport people and whatnot, which is
Create portals.
yeah, that's a really crazy power when the more you think about it.
Oh yeah, like literally all he has to do is have the knowledge of where, and he can create a portal to it.
It's
And
like,
that's like the craziest thing, because he doesn't have to see it. He just has to like know it or visualize it. And that's crazy.
it is crazy.
It's insane. So he shows up literally at the front door behind all the kids and 13. He's the one who's teleporting everybody in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is happening? And it's spiraling off. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. God.
Well, and it's crazy because then like he like stands in front of all of them, and then it's actually Bakugo and Kirishima who try to attack him, and then end up missing because he's just this sort of like just this fog. Like they don't see a physical body, so when they try to attack, it's just like they just kind of hit fog.
Yep.
They don't really hit anything.
It was cool that they attacked him first, though.
Yeah.
Like, they were just like, no, fuck them all.
Fuck them all.
Exactly what it was like. And then this dude decides to separate everybody.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh no.
Yep.
Oh god.
So he separates like all the kids. There's like a few that manage to get out of the way. Like Tenya gets like, I think it was like Ochiko and I think it was Ashido, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a couple of them that got out of the way, but a bunch of them did end up getting teleported. So like you see like Midoriya gets like launched out into like the water area with like the crews. You see like Bakugo and Kirishima end up in a building area.
They end up in the fiery building.
Yeah. You see what was it?
The tail gentleman.
No, I think he was in the fire area.
No, he was in the city. He was in the city, not on fire. I think it was the storm. It was...
No, because I think or maybe... No, because it was the crow guy that I think was in the storm.
Well, he was there, yeah.
Yeah.
He was part of that.
Well, no. So he was part of that. I'm just saying, like, they were all teleported to these different areas. I don't know. There's so many of the kids that it's like, oh god, we got to figure this out. But anyway, so they all get separated. But they're all like in these like little groups.
The downpour zone.
Oh, okay. That's
it's an urban environment that's constantly hit by rainfall.
Okay.
That was where the crow guy and the tail man. I'm pretty sure the tail man. I may be completely getting. Basically, they all get separated.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Either way, it doesn't matter specifics.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
But
the big thing was that Midoriya got launched over to the little like water like cruise area, and he was about to get like attacked by some like whatever the watery ass villain that's over there. When all of a sudden the villain gets stopped by Sue. And Midori, that's where Midori realizes, like, oh, he's not alone here. So he ends up uniting with Sue and one other character.
Oh, God.
Do you remember this other character, Chris?
I remember. I can't forget him.
Yes.
Mind you, like with the rest of the characters in our podcast right now, I cannot remember his name. Mineta.
Yes. Everyone's favorite character.
Is it just... Am I the only one that feels... Not... I don't want to say disappointed, but he's like... This dude is like... There's a lot of opinions.
Yeah, no. When I say everyone's favorite, I do mean that jokingly. He is kind of...
Oh, no, I know that.
Yeah.
We're just like... I don't know if I'm underthinking it.
Actually, what is his first name? Let me pull up his profile on here. Yeah. Minoru.
That's I know they're all of their those names.
Yeah.
Those are the names that show up in the subtitles.
Yeah.
So that's how I know.
So anyways, it's these three that end up fighting each other.
And my first impression is okay, Frog Girl. She seems smart, but it's Frog Girl. And this guy with the weird purple grape costume. I'm like, oh man, Midoriya, I'm sorry.
Because like we haven't seen him very much at this point.
We haven't really seen either of them do anything.
I mean, we saw Sue like a little bit, but not like enough. And then Mineta just is like, oh, that's that kid. Meanwhile, everyone else is like in their own situation. Aizawa's fighting, and we actually end up finding out that the villains actually came there to find All Might.
Yep.
And apparently All Might was supposed to be in this little class thing with everyone, but he wasn't there.
Yep.
As we end up finding out.
Yep, it was going to be 13, All Might, and Aizawa in this training.
Yeah.
But All Might wasn't able to show up.
Yes.
Because he was out there being a hero on his way to work.
Yep. So
he used up all his juice.
So he needed to recharge.
Yep. And of course, while that's happening, this is all happening.
Yeah, it's actually funny because we do cut and see All Might, and that's actually where not only do we see All Might and he's needing to recharge, but we actually meet the school principal.
Oh my god.
I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on him, the school principal.
Oh, what a goofy ass character. Like he seems very wholesome.
So for those of you who don't who can't exactly visualize, the school principal is this tiny little mouse man. He is literally like, he's a little mouse, and he's super adorable looking. He's
like 2 feet tall.
He's like 2 foot tall. He has like a scar over one of his eyes, so you know he's seen some shit.
But he's like super nice. He's just like,
he's super nice, super calm.
And he's just like, he's just talking to All Might. He's just like, hey, you gotta be careful out there, stuff like that.
Yeah, because he knows the secret with All Might, that he's this power and everything.
Yeah, because All Might's in the office with him, like completely shriveled.
Yeah.
And then he makes him tea, and then he starts lecturing him.
Meanwhile, all this, it's like All Might's getting concerned because he tried to tell 13 and Aizawa that he wasn't going to be late or something, but they never were able to reply to him, so he's kind of like, I wonder if everything's okay.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this little mouse person is talking to him.
They just make tea, and they're just hanging out. Meanwhile, like, there's an actual situation.
There is an
happening.
invasion right now.
And, like, literally their strongest guy is in the principal's office.
Yeah.
Hanging out. So that's a level of stress that's happening.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, like, Aizawa, like, you can tell he's kind of getting tired.
Well, it's crazy because Aizawa manages to do fine for the most part. Like, he is starting to get tired, but he manages to do fine against the lackeys. It's when he has to go against the big boys that it's kind of like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool because I was curious about it because he did bring up, because his eyes can take away quirks.
Yeah.
It's the specific quirks that are like body modification quirks.
Yeah.
That he can't actually affect.
Yeah.
Like, I forget the character that he did it to, but I'm assuming it's examples like, if your hands are swords, he can't turn them.
Yeah.
He can't turn that kind of a quirk off.
Yeah.
It's just the ones that are like either manifested or controllable.
Well, because it's like there was a bunch of, there's like a few different villains that all had like guns or something and were going to shoot, but he was able to not have them shoot. So that's where it's like he can't make the guns go away.
Yeah, it was the guy, he had the finger guns.
Yeah.
But he turned off the finger guns.
Yeah. Yeah, so he manages to do fine, but I mean, it's funny because Midoriya actually does point this out before Aizawa goes down. He tells him, is like, are you going to be okay? Because you're... Wow.
I dropped my phone like an idiot. Leave me alone.
That created a spike. That sounded like it hit like a trombone or something. Boom.
Boy.
What? That was loud. Did it just hit like the metal on the desk?
Hit this, that, and these.
like a pinball was like.
It did. It was everything I didn't want to happen.
Man, and you like snarled at me when I sneezed.
Yeah, now we're even.
Now we're even.
You're welcome.
Anyways, so it's funny because Midoriya is like, "Are you going to be okay?" Because your quirk is like fine, but it's not practical in like large crowds or like up close and personal, whatever. And Aizawa does fine for the most part, but he does start to show its limit. Like,
yeah, I mean, like he showed his limit during not his limit, but the strain of he can't blink.
Yeah.
He has to like maintain his eyes open in order to take away their quirks. So he's doing all of this combat without closing his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's doing fine against the lackeys.
Yeah.
But it's like when the bigger boys start to come in, it's like he's trying a little bit harder.
Yeah.
The whole time we're staring at this big, giant, weird looking creature.
Yeah,
with
that's
its brain sticking out.
That's actually what I was gonna ask you. I wanted to talk about the big boys, the couple big boys that I think I want to get your opinion about. But yes, let's start with the giant, disgusting monstrosity that is the Nomu.
Nomu is genuinely a surprising character they brought in because it was so strong.
Yeah.
And it was so weird and bizarre. And they explained it was like he was literally created. And it's like, what? And he doesn't do anything really for the most part until Aizawa.
Yeah, until Aizawa.
Then that shit got rough.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like I was like, oh no.
So he's gonna kill him.
I felt so like
because he was like breaking his bones and everything.
The first thing is like he's like beating the shit out of Aizawa.
Yeah.
And then he like throws him into the ground and like smashes his head into
that. Rewatching that was like, oh my god. Like
I was like, whoa, oh my god.
For a second, I was like, oh my god, did he just like kill him? Like, dang.
I was like, is this the last time we see Aizawa?
They just don't have a teacher anymore.
I was like, holy shit. And he's like punching him. And I'm like, is he gonna go blind and then lose any sense of quirkiness?
Yeah.
But no, then when he's on the ground, yeah, he like fucking grabs his arm, and Nomu's huge. Like his hand is like the size of like could easily wrap around all of Aizawa.
Yeah.
And so like he just grabs his arm and he's like pulling on it and like breaking it, and I'm just like, I'm very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is intense, and I'm like, these guys are bad. These are definitely these. This is not the casual like, oh, these are the bad guys. Like, look at this, because I thought it was just gonna be, here's the bad guys. They're gonna get scared off.
Yeah, like some like like Marvel DC ass like like villains like street level like that kind of.
I thought it was gonna be like, here's the introduction to the shady underworld of heroes and villains.
Yeah, and
then. Just as a teaser for what's happening out there.
Yeah.
But they did not. No, they were like, no, these guys are fucked up and they're here now.
Yeah.
And, they... God, Nomu... That's a scary dude to fight.
No.
That is so... Oh, my God.
So, my thing, while we're on the subject of Nomu, well, before we get to the other one, having watched the rest of the show and knowing where the story is going, I think it's really interesting that this is where we first see Nomu. A lot happens, and we learn a lot about what the hell Nomu is and other things that I won't spoil, but it's not good. You said it that Nomu is some strange like created thing, some horrible fucking like thing.
Yeah, well, I mean the other bad guy who is there kind of commanding the show.
Yeah.
And this is still on the topic of Nomu, but this guy who's like covered in fucking weird ass hands.
Yeah.
And gloves, like he has the glove on his face, which to this day is still a fucking mystery. I can't even guess what the fuck that might even actually do.
Yeah.
But he's like running the whole show, and he's talking a lot of shit, and he basically tells us that that Nomu was created specifically to kill All Might.
Yeah.
He was crafted very specifically.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit. They have a weapon that can kill All Might.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I forgot that they even mentioned that he was created and whatnot. That comes to play later on, the idea of something being created like this.
Well, it's being created now.
Yeah, but it was really... I like revisiting it, it's like, oh my god, like Nomu is just a fucking monster, and it's crazy to see it. Like, it's just like...
It is, because he's like fucking unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like, you feel the force behind his like attacks and his movement and what he does, and it's like, how do you fight that?
Yeah.
God. And then, this other guy with the gloves.
Yes. Do you remember his name?
Do I ever?
So
I mean, listen, I'm gonna memorize these names.
Yes, his name is a name you are gonna want to remember, and I'm so happy that you have now seen him. It makes me so happy. Tomura Shigaraki. Shigaraki is the one he mostly goes by, but you hear Tomura Shigaraki.
Interesting.
Yes,
I understand the pop figure now.
Yeah,
not really, but I know what he looks like.
Yeah, you now see he's got a lot of hands.
It's pretty handy.
Yes. I do want to say this. It's bizarre seeing him like all this like early and whatnot, because like he's calling the shots here, but he's very much like his inexperience is pretty obvious. Kirogiri is kind of like the Alfred to his Batman, kind of like trying to advise him and whatnot. And then like when shit's not going his way, he starts really getting like antsy and like panicky and whatnot. Yep. And it's just it's really interesting because I had kind of forgotten, just like, oh wow, this is kind of where he started. He's such a like interesting character, and he is gonna come back. He's gonna kind of be not a mainstay a little bit, but seeing this is where he kind of starts. It's just like, oh, he's bad news.
Oh my God.
And you get to see his quirk a little bit. Do you remember? It's okay if you don't. It was pretty quick.
I don't remember.
Okay. So at one point, Aizawa had gone after him, and I think it might have been when he was on the ground or something, but basically Shigaraki had grabbed Aizawa's elbow, and you watch as his elbow started
like the disintegration.
It started disintegrating right from the clothes to his skin
to the muscle.
It started actually like breaking down, and that's
okay. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah,
that shit was terrifying.
I'm
okay.
So when you see him going to grab certain characters, it's like
it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
For man. Yeah, that shit was scary, and Midoriya noticed that. Midoriya was like, no.
No, Midoriya very much noticed that. But I did want to hear your opinion on Shigaraki.
Oh, no, I think that's fucking crazy. This dude is totally not okay.
Yeah.
He's fucking crazy, seemingly.
And the worst trait of him, so he's a gamer.
Just nerd.
Just like us. He keeps referencing like video games, and he's like, oh, this isn't quite the boss fight yet or whatnot.
Like literally the episode's called Game Over.
Yeah.
And it's like a second player. Whatever. He's definitely trying. He's running the show here.
He's trying to run the show.
But quick rapid fire moment.
Yeah.
Just to bounce around, because I don't want to focus too much on everything else that's happening.
Right.
Because I mean,
there's a lot.
So first things first, we see Midoriya, Sue, and
it starts with an M.
Minata.
Close.
Medina.
Medina.
Minato. No.
The Minata.
I'm sorry. Mineta. Just help me. Stop. Mineta. Didn't I say that?
No, you said Minata. You said Mineta.
I hate it. You watched this happen. You let this happen. This is your fault.
I didn't say anything. I just was like, come on, you can do it.
You didn't say anything.
I'm supporting you.
So those three, they're over in the water. They climb up to the ship. And they're like, okay, what the hell do we do? The whole water area is surrounded by other villains.
All these like watered villains and whatnot.
But the thing is, none of them are attacking.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Midoriya, in his fucking 600 IQ brain,
Midoriya was also playing 3-dimensional chess over here.
And he's like, wait. So he realizes, oh, Sue's quirk is that she is a frog, so she's really quick in the water and all these things. And he's like, so based on that, and they separated all of us, and they're not attacking, means they don't know what our quirks are, which means they're being just as cautious.
And he brings up that really good point, and then Sue realized too, it's like, yeah, if they knew our powers, like I would be over in the flamey area where I would be on fire, and it wouldn't work. But so obviously they don't know the powers.
Exactly. So Midoriya's like, we can use that to our advantage.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. That's why they haven't attacked us yet.
Yeah.
But that's also where we had learned that Sue can spit out like acid.
Yeah.
But not acid. It's like, she's like, it burns a little bit, but not really.
Yeah. No, actually, I was going to...
It secretes from her skin.
I was going to say this interaction is really... I love this interaction because... Yeah, she talks about her powers being like she's basically a frog. She can swim really well. Her tongue, she can secrete this sort of like weird acid, mucus, whatever it is, this sort of thing. But it's like, it kind of stings a little. I think she also said she could like something with her stomach, but it wouldn't really, it's like, it won't really.
So she can completely spit out her stomach and wash it and then bring it back in. And she's like,
which I'm like, come on, that would be amazing.
She's like, but it's not, I can't really think that's useful or not.
And then Midoriya says that his power is that he has a lot of like strength, like in his attacks, but
he has super strength.
But then once he uses it, he's out of commission.
Yeah.
And then Mineta, his power, his quirk.
Mineta is, first off, God, this dude's a fucking freak.
He's a freak.
No, I mean that in the way that when Sue is talking about her powers and she says secretes, it cuts to him and he's like, secretes? And I'm just like, he's a little fucking perv.
Yeah.
And so it cuts to him and Midoriya's like, okay, so what are our quirks? Like, what can we certain, not surface level, but we can do... We just got to be creative with how our quirks work.
Yeah.
You know? And so he asks him, he's like, what's your quirk? And he's just like, he's like freaking out because he's not good under this pressure.
Yeah. Well,
and he's scared. And Midoriya's just like, fucking get it together, man.
Well, no, it was funny because like this whole interaction, they're all being quiet and like serious. And then Mineta's just like, I can take these balls off and I can shoot as many, but once I hit my limit I start to bleed a bit and they're really sticky, but they don't stick to me, they just bounce off of me, and then they just all go quiet, like Sue and Midoriya staring at him and he starts freaking out. I lost it just because that timing of that whole sequence was so good. Just the awkward silence.
It was such good comedic timing.
Yeah, like that, because it's just like,
because he says it so confidently.
He does say it confidently, and then he starts freaking out. It's just like fucking Mineta.
Because he's like, I can take these off my head, and they're kind of squishy, and they stick to other things. They stick to things, and they'll never come off.
Except for me, they just bounce off of me.
Yeah, and he's just like, I can do that, but if I take too much, it starts to bleed and stuff. And then he waits for their response to be like, this is my power, and they're just like, what?
Like literally.
And he starts crazy, like, I'm useless.
It's so funny.
And anyway, so Sue is really cool. This guy, I am sitting there through the whole thing trying to be like, what the fuck is his power good for? Like, I'm genuinely like,
But he passed the hero court exam. Like, he got into the entrance exam.
Yeah, I know, which is why I'm trying to think how the fuck is this useful. And I mean that in a genuine way, because I've seen a lot of anime with powers, and it's like, on surface level, it's like, oh, it's just this power. But it's like, they use it in creative ways. I'm trying to think of what this grape head dude's like powers could possibly be used for.
Yeah.
Which in this moment was actually pretty cool. They teamed up, and what it was Midoriya went and used One for All and flicked the surface of the water
Yeah.
from a distance, but it was was one for all. So it literally created a fucking hole through the bottom of the lake, and all the villains in the lake are like, what the fuck is they're like, oh my god, what the hell? And then he's like falling in the air, and then Sue grabs him. Sue leaps with Mineta and grabs Midoriya in the air, and Mineta's like throwing his little ball things into the water as hard as he can, and he's just like throwing tons of them, and they're like sticking to the guys in the water, and they're just like floating around, and they're watching, like they're not touching it because they're like, what the fuck is this? Like they don't know what it is. They don't know if it's gonna explode. And then as they're going away, Midoriya explains physics, which is by creating that basically that separation so rapidly, it would also rapidly reconform and basically just becomes like a whirlpool. A whirlpool.
A whirlpool.
And so they all get sucked into it, and the little balls stick to each other, and the guys end up sticking to each other. And they get dragged under the water. And I was like, wow, useful. I never saw that coming, but I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. I was like, that's pretty rad. And so, they kind of got out, and that was pretty cool. Next one, we shoot back over to Bakugo and Kirishima. And Bakugo, he's doing fine. Kirishima, we find out really what his power really is when he talks about it, and it's he's able to like harden his body parts and stuff. So it's like kind of looks like rock when he does it, like the way it like shapes and everything. That's pretty. I think it's a cool power. It's nothing you can like throw or shoot or do anything, but it's like he's pretty tough physically. And so they're out there, and realistically, they're doing fine. They're more just confused on why the fuck they were teleported and what the hell's happening, and this is probably a dangerous situation. But they're not like in any way worried for their life. And I don't remember if Todoroki's with them too.
Todoroki was in a different spot.
Okay, Todoroki's also doing just fine.
He fucking, we don't even see him, but he like froze every one of them, whoever was around him.
Immediately, and they're all just like frozen in form. And Todoroki's just like, he's actually trying to figure out what the hell's happening. So one of the frozen guys, he actually asks, he's like, I don't usually like being, doing this kind of like messed up violence things, but like, what are you doing here? And the guy's just like, I'll never tell you. And Todoroki like puts his hand up to his face, like he's just gonna freeze him solid and he's gonna die. And I'm like, wow, Todoroki, holy shit.
He don't
like,
fuck around.
Like he does it. I'm like, God, but he can back it up. That's the thing. And in the other zones, they seem to be doing okay.
You watch as all the kids do really well on their own. Like, they do really well fighting and defending themselves.
But who doesn't do very well are the people up by the main gate, the main entrance door. With our warp gate friend, he is giving them a lot of trouble. Because not only can they not figure out how to like hurt him because he's just smoke, but there's just like they also can't communicate and they can't escape because he's blocking the door. But then 13's like, nah, I can take care of this. I got my black hole power. And it's kind of interesting because it seemed like it was built into her suit. Or she had the suit built to support that ability, because it's like the finger on her glove like pops open, and like the fucking tunnel of air getting sucked through. And she's trying to do that to this guy, and I'm like, oh shit, well this guy's fucking done. He's just smoke. It's just gonna like a vacuum. That was not what happened.
No. It wasn't. Not really.
Not at all. It was fucked up.
It really was.
It was, because he literally creates a fucking warp gate in front of him and then creates a second one behind 13.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like slowly realizing the severity of this entire situation.
Yeah.
In all of these episodes so far, since the villains show up. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so fucked.
Yeah, because she ends up like, it's like almost like it's basically just a portal thing where she ends up like sucking like herself basically with their power because of how the warp gates are set up, and ends up ripping the back part off of her suit.
Yep, and basically fucking her up a lot too.
Yeah.
But of course we don't see her.
We don't see her.
We don't even know. Really, we don't even know if she's actually in there.
Yeah.
Could just be a suit. But either way, she gets fucked up.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
She's like alive, which I was like, oh my god, is she fucking dead? I was like, oh my god, no, we just met her. She's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of them that are up at the gate are just like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Like this is the superhero 13, and you got taken out.
Yeah. Well, so basically what ends up happening is that and it's actually 13 that tells Ida, because he's up there, to go get help and to go find help. And he's like, what happens if I leave you guys? Like, I don't want to leave. And like, no, just go get help, like whatnot. And so he ends up going, but pretty much, the guy, Portal Master here, he's gonna basically pose a problem. But then what the kids end up seeing is that there's this one big like metal thing on him, and it's like, what the hell is that? And I don't remember who exactly finds it, but I know that Ochiko actually ends up being able to like touch it, and basically this makes him end up floating. And so pretty much it's like, oh, he's got a body then. He's just hiding it.
There's a physical presence.
There is a body in there.
Like they're just like, we just gotta hit it.
We just got the little neck thing. But this and a couple other attacks, allow for Ida to be able to get out of there. And it's really cool seeing Ida just so like focused and determined to get out and go get help. Like, he's very much like the Flash of this show, but he isn't like the speed of light or anything. He is just really, really fast.
Yeah, and he's doing his best.
Yeah,
like,
and
he's really running.
You really feel like he's doing his best, and that's really cool.
And this is that moment where like everybody realizes they kind of have to support each other.
Yeah,
and it's like, in a way, it's like a team building exercise.
Basically,
just with death.
Essentially.
Ooh.
But then things get serious because then we cut back to the whole Aizawa thing, and Aizawa is basically just fucking like he's getting his ass kicked by Nomu.
Oh yeah, Aizawa is basically out of commission at this point.
And then meanwhile, while this is happening, Midoriya, Tsu, and Mineta are like watching it, thinking that they're being sneaky. And then Shigaraki all of a sudden like jumps over them and was like, "Oh, hello."
Right?
Oh, hello.
And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah, and then ends up going to touch
Ochiko's
Sue.
Sorry, goes to touch Sue's face, and Midoriya immediately is like remembering what happened to Aizawa's arm, and he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
And so he's like ready to fucking hit him with all of his fucking,
and he releases a huge punch, and what's cool is that when he does this punch, it actually doesn't break his arm, and he's like, "Oh shit, I did it, I didn't break my arm or anything," but somehow basically the smoke like clears, and Nomu essentially swapped him places, basically pushing him out of the way or something. So he ended up just punching Nomu, and it didn't do jack shit to him.
It not only didn't hurt Nomu, but it didn't hurt Midoriya.
Well, then that was the part of Midoriya. I was like, I didn't hurt myself, and then he's like, oh, it didn't hurt him though.
Right, and it's like, and at that point, that was like, oh shit, like. Because we've seen how strong, I mean, even Midoriya's most reckless, one for all punches
Yeah.
are incredibly devastating. He punched a fucking building.
Yeah.
He punched the shit out of that robot,
Yeah.
And it's like, he fucking punches Nomu and it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Not like wind. Just nothing. Just like, it gets like fucking stopped.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is this Nomu thing?
Legit. And then basically then Shigaraki goes to, touch Sue as well as Mineta. And it's like, oh no. And I think Nomu had grabbed Midoriya at this point or something like that. I think there was something along that.
Yeah, so he Nomu had grabbed Midoriya and Shigaraki.
Yeah, so Nomu grabbed Midoriya, and then Sue had launched her time to get Midoriya, but then in that instant Shigaraki was going to touch her and Mineta.
Right.
And basically just everything's all of a sudden like, oh my god, what is happening?
It's like they had that moment with his punch, and it was like maybe they were gonna come back, and it didn't, and then it all was going so bad.
Yeah.
They were all gonna get fucked. And then 6 o'clock comes around and Dad comes home from work.
Breaks down the door, basically. So All Might comes in, and it's just like when everything has gone to shit, and it's like, oh no. All Might comes in, and it's actually really... I think it's significant because he isn't smiling when he comes in. This is actually the first time we've seen him make an entrance, and he's not smiling.
Nope.
That's how it's like, oh, he fucking mad.
He's not only serious, but he's like probably pissed.
He's pissed.
And it's pretty cool to see, because this is him like being super serious.
Yeah.
And All Might being serious isn't something we've seen, and that seems scary.
We've seen him serious. It's just like when he's like this, where he's in this like hero form and everything, it's like he does his hardest to be like smiling and like happy and whatnot. So it's just like, oh.
Oh, you messed up now.
Yeah. And I mean like he comes in, he immediately knows what's going on. Like he says that Ida had found him and gotten him over there, and yeah, and then basically everyone's like so happy that he's there, and then Shigaraki's just sitting there like, oh ho ho, ooh.
Shigaraki is happy. He's like, finally, you've shown up. That's the whole reason we're here.
Yep. And basically at that point we get a big old smackdown.
We get the fucking cool fight between Nomu and All Might.
Meanwhile, Shigaraki's just kind of like, hey,
He's just laughing in the background.
And I mean, like, it gets pretty intense. Like, they're able to stand toe to toe.
That's insane.
Which is crazy, yeah. And like, Nomu's just taking all these like hits and whatnot, and All Might's taking hits too, but All Might's also like at a certain limit, and Midoriya is the only one to know this, but All Might has, he fought like 3 villains before coming into the school, so he was already at a point where he was low on energy. He was recharging, so now he's on like, it's like the equivalent of like you had your phone almost dying, charging up to like 15%, and then having to go into work. It's like, no, he was like low.
Yeah. Oof. And it was crazy because he comes in and he sees Nomu and just everything that's happening. And then when they start fighting, he's kind of surprised that Nomu's like taking the hits.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is weird. And Shigaraki basically like, yeah, he has impact absorption. He has like shock absorption.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what your quirk is basically strong impacts.
Yeah.
And so he basically says, yeah, we designed this guy to be able to absorb the damage from your quirk, basically rendering you completely useless.
Yeah.
In their mind. And All Might's just, they're wailing on each other, and it's fucking hard hits. Like, these aren't like back and forth little punches. these are like full force.
It's like
strike. It's crazy. And then All Might's like, okay. And then he brings up, he's like, you said he has, shock absorption, not that he's immune to it, which means there's a limit.
Yeah.
And All Might's like, I just have to push him past his limit. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
To go further beyond.
And the speed punches, like, they're fast. Like, I feel like they are actually faster than a lot of the punching that Dragon Ball tries to do.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like, especially in more recent stuff with Dragon Ball, at least.
Like, you have, like, the quick movements, but this is, like the punches that All Might and Nomu are throwing are insane.
Yeah.
And, like, Midoriya is watching, and he's just like, no, every single punch All Might is throwing is with 100% of his energy.
Yeah.
Like, every punch he's punching with everything he's got. And that's crazy. That's insane. That's so fucking strong. And Nomu's just taking it.
Yeah.
He's just like toe to toe like it's nothing. And then All Might takes him to class. There at the end.
Basically.
Wait, I want you to describe how the fight basically went.
Well, it's funny because it's like there's a certain moment where it actually looks like Nomu ends up getting a hand because he actually ends up having some sort of like a stronghold on All Might's side where we know there's like a giant like scar and whatnot.
Yeah, he grabs him there.
And then you have Kirogiri who opens sort of like a portal underneath them and kind of has them in like a halfway point. So like All Might's like halfway down, and then the other portal, like the other side of it, kind of like is going up. So Kirigiri is using that portal to like strangle All Might.
Yeah, because he's in like is a suplex, like that. Like that wrestling move where you do like flip somebody behind your back.
Yeah.
So he's got All Might's head like in the ground through one of the warp gates, but the other warp gate it's popping up out of the ground.
Yeah. If you've played Portal, you know how this works. It's like that.
And so he's gonna use that to close. He's like, if your head's like that, I close the warp gate, takes off your head.
Yeah.
And we're good.
So then, as this is all happening, two things happen. One is that fucking Bakugo and Kirishima come out of nowhere. Bakugo actually attacks Kirogiri on that big metal neck piece and whatnot, and actually fucking is like, ah, and then Kirogiri ends up actually like loosening that grip. The other thing that happens is that Todoroki comes in and freezes Nomu so he doesn't have that grip that well, and so All Might's able to get out of that.
Yep, he freezes everything except Nomu's like hand.
Yeah.
So that Nomu can't really move or do anything, but All Might can still just like pull out of it.
Yeah. And so he's able to do that, and then Midoriya's just there like, oh, what? Everyone's here.
He's just like, oh my god.
And then All Might's like, you guys need to get out of here. And they're like, hey, like, we can help you. And All Might's like, no, I got this. With like the thumbs up. And then Nomu ends up breaking out of the ice, and he's like, his limbs like come off, but then he ends up growing them back, and Shigaraki's like, haha, he's got regeneration.
And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so he's got regeneration and shock absorption.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck have you created?
Yeah, it's like, first off, they really did try to create this dude to like combat anything that All Might could have probably like ripped him apart.
Yeah.
For some reason, but he just grows it back. If for some reason he can punch through the shock absorption, he could probably regenerate any damage he actually took.
Yeah.
Tooks. And he takes it's crazy.
And so But then, so not only is that happening, but then a lot of like the goons, like the henchmen or what other little villains, when I start getting back up, it's like, oh, they're starting to come back up.
Yep, because Aizawa's not keeping them down anymore.
Yeah, and so they're all starting to get back up. Meanwhile, the kids have been fighting it. There was actually, I didn't even mention it, there was a whole thing with Momo, Jiro, the girl with the earjack girl.
That was part of the rapid fire.
Yeah, I know. There's so many, like, these little things. This whole, like, it jumps to so many different characters all doing, like, things.
There's a lot happening at the end of the
season.
season.
And Kaminari. And this is, like, the first time we really get to see these three, like, really doing their powers, like, really well.
Do anything, honestly.
Kaminari, I love him. He's such a little dopey character, but his power is so cool.
Kind of doofy.
But Jiro's super cool, too. Her earjack, her earphone jack thing is like, that's really cool. That's such a cool power.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, a part of me's like, how does that physically work? But I'm like, I'm trying to justify this science that wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, does it only work with her shoes that she has, or can she do other things? Like, that's just like what I'm thinking as we're seeing her power, because like, that's really crazy and unique.
Yeah.
But fucking Momo
with
like,
the
holy
creation,
shit.
yeah, with the creating things and whatnot.
I'm just like, that seems like nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of energy out of her to do certain things. That's why she's not just coming out with a fucking nuke and whatnot. But it's like,
but it's cool because she's like she can pull out like swords,
and it's also limited to like as long as she knows their molecular like capability and whatnot.
Yeah, which is also like, okay, she's smart as fuck.
She is super smart. Momo is like one of those characters that's like, we see her and we don't always see her like in the spotlight, but she is one of the smarter kids in that class.
Oh yeah, that's why she's a class representative.
Heck yeah. And then so that's all happening. But anyways, so the guys are all starting to get back up. This is all happening, and then Ida comes back, and not only does he come back, he comes back with a ton of the other teachers and pro heroes and whatnot.
Everybody.
It's like fucking like Endgame, just like all of them come back.
That's what it felt like when they were all walking in. It's like, these are all like the top rank heroes. Holy shit.
you got a bunch of them in there. I don't know. Did you see Midnight, the pro hero, the lady with the black hair and like the mask and whatnot? Did she make an appearance earlier in the show?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I didn't think she popped up until season 2, and I saw her in this. I was like, was this like the first time we see Midnight?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Actually, yeah. They like tease all these super pro heroes.
Yeah. I won't. It's not a huge spoiler. She's just like, she really pops up in the next arc, the big like tournament arc, as sort of like the announcer and whatnot. And
all right, which means we'll talk about that.
We'll
season 2's podcast.
Oh yeah, no, we'll talk more about that. But she kind of she's a little more prominent just as like the announcer for whatnot. And I just, when she was in that lineup of all the heroes, I was like, oh, Midnight. Like, I didn't know she was
like, oh hey, cool. They nodded to her already.
Yeah. But anyway, so all these pro heroes come and they all start kicking the ass out of all the other like little guys and whatnot. And then we get the fucking fight between All Might and Nomu. And All Might,
Nomu breaks out of the ice.
Yeah, Nomu breaks out of it, and All Might is like, he's running out of time because his like transformation, it's starting to like steam. He's like, he needs to start doing something now.
It's a lot of steam too. Like,
it is.
The whole area is filling.
And so All Might just goes all out and just releases. And I think this is the point where he was, what you said, where he was like, this is shock absorption, it doesn't negate the attack, so there's a certain point where it's not going to work anymore. I just have to break it.
Yep. And he's like, you ever seen this before, how we do this in my school?
Yeah. And so he's just wrecking him, and then oh my god, poor Nomu. He just watches these like All Might, just like all these punches are starting to really overpower him, and then he's starting to like just go crazy. And then finally All Might releases this one just mighty punch that launches Nomu not just to like out through the roof of the building, but in through like the sky.
He All Might went plus ultra.
He did go plus ultra.
He did, and that was
he
like
sent Nomu's ass to fucking Jupiter plus ultra.
Dude, that shit was fucking cool because it was All Might just wailing on him, and then he's like, wait, you can take this, but can you take this?
Yeah,
And he's just like plus ultra, and it's like this huge punch. Like the animation for it was really cool.
The animation
like
was
the build up, and then
Yeah.
he fucking hits him, and that is like the full force.
No, this was this is one of those moments, and there's definitely other moments too, where Academia's animation just jumps, and it's like, oh, it's just so cool, and it's like, oh,
It is. It's like, oh my god, it's so fucking rad.
yeah, no,
He
this
punches him through the fucking dome,
And he
through the
just-
fucking sky.
he
And it
launched.
does like the little twinkle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, he got fucking sent out of fucking.
oh, he got launched, and then like Shigaraki's just like, huh, and then he does.
He really is. He's like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Well, no, and then it's funny because like he starts being like, you cheated, and like he's saying like all this stuff. Meanwhile all the heroes are like, fighting and whatnot, and then at one point I forget the hero's name, but everyone kind of makes a joke because his quirk is a gun. He's like the one with like, he's got like a gas mask kind of thing, and I think his quirk is that he can like shoot, but his bullets are super like bullseye. But basically, he like shoots Shigaraki and manages to hit both his arms and his legs. So Shigaraki just like falls. And I think that's the I've always seen people make jokes like, yeah, his quirk is just a fucking gun.
It's just a gun.
But like, obviously they're heroes, they can't exactly kill, so he doesn't like shoot him like in the head or something. Otherwise this show would be done.
Oh my god. Yeah, the sheer amount of like hellfire that those heroes could probably have laid down in that scenario.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then well, no, and then basically All Might's like, just surrender, just give up or whatnot, and then that's where Shigaraki's like, yeah, and then like, then they basically end up getting away. All the minions and whatnot, all of them end up getting like arrested or taken out by the heroes, but Kirogiri and Shigaraki end up getting away.
Of course.
Kirogiri's all like, ooh, portals, and then gets away.
Yep, they fucking warp out.
Yeah.
And then the pro heroes understand All Might's situation.
Well, so we get introduced because oh, and that was the other thing, was that Midoriya had used his power on, who did he use it on? He used it on someone to attack.
Well, it was during the fight.
Was it the Nomu fight?
It was the Nomu fight, and Midoriya realized that All Might wasn't gonna probably make it.
Yeah.
So Midoriya basically
Oh, that's right. He
used
went
his
after
quirk
it
to shoot himself across because he was gonna attack him.
And then that was when Shigaraki was actually gonna touch him, I think. But then this gave All Might a window to basically like do something.
Yeah, because of Midoriya interfering.
Yeah.
It distracted
It distracted them.
It distracted Shigaraki, and everything was like, what? But that was enough time for All Might to basically, in that fraction of a time, like collect himself and that was the opening to his plus ultra strike.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because All Might's super worn out, and then Midoriya ends up breaking both of his legs to launch himself there. In Midoriya fashion, and
he's I like the animation a little bit because he's like flying and his legs are
like macaroni noodles, just like
they're just flapping. But I'm just like, damn, Midoriya even just fucking, he's over here as a fucking pro.
Yeah,
trying to help out.
And then, so anyways, what I was gonna say was that they're both just like laying there, and like All Might can't keep his form up, so he ends up going like half and half, like half of his body's all like shriveled before going full. And then I think it was Kirishima who's like, "Hey, Midori, you all right?" And he's like running over to him, and All Might's like, "Oh fuck, and then we see the I forget his name, but he's like one of the teachers, and his power is basically that he can manipulate concrete.
Yeah.
And he's this big like rock guy.
Yeah.
And he's super sweet. He's super nice. We see him a little bit more in season 2 as well. Basically the same thing. He's like with like, you know, helping with like the tournament and whatnot. But he's a really cool hero. Like I would love to see a little bit more of him. But yeah, he's just super like, oh, always happy to help. I'm a big fan of yours, All Might, or whatever.
Yeah, because during that, he created a wall.
Yeah, he had created a wall so they didn't see him.
And then he tells Kirishima, he's like, hey, you know, those guys need your help, more importantly, go. Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, you're right, got it. And he runs away.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was cool seeing, like, all the other heroes, like, just collectively kind of protect All Might, too, because they understand what he represents.
Yeah.
So it's, like, this cool little...
This cool little thing.
Yeah.
And then we find out that because all the kids have gone, like, you know, regrouped and everything, we actually end up finding out that aside from Midoriya having hurt himself from like launching himself, none of the other kids really got hurt. So that was actually good. Yeah. The kids actually managed to stand up on their own. They took out bad guys
through an invasion of villains.
Seriously, through a surprise invasion, these kids stood their ground, didn't get hurt or anything, other than Midoriya, who just launched himself, basically got hurt and whatnot. Yeah, that was just because of his power. It wasn't like someone had done it to him. It was just his power. Mm-hmm. So the kids all did great.
Yeah.
And
just like, holy crap.
But then we find out that Aizawa and 13 have both gone to the hospital. Fucking Aizawa. And they find out that they're going to be all right. They're in the hospital. They're going to be all right. And so the kids are like, oh, okay, cool. We get introduced to this one police investigator character. I forget the name, but he's a minor reoccurring character. He's a really nice like investigative guy. He's close with like All Might and whatnot.
Yeah, he says like, you know, he just comes into the medical ward where All Might is.
Yeah.
And he's all shrivelly.
Yeah.
And Midoriya's like, is that okay to just let him see? Like
yeah,
that?
And he's like, no, he's cool.
He's like, what are you talking about? He's my best friend on the Force.
Yeah.
Like, of course. And, you know, the cop is just like super nice. He's like, hey.
He's cool. He's a character that is reoccurring, but I tend to forget him sometimes just because he's not like always there.
He's gonna be the final villain of the series.
Exactly. But anyways, so jumping past that part, so Midoriya and All Might go to medical like nurse area where the nurse lady was like taking care of them and helping them and whatnot, and they're both doing okay, and All Might's really proud of Midoriya, and it's like not only that, but like I think it was the cop who was like, you know, like you did a really good job saving those kids, and All Might was one who was like, no, these kids stood up for themselves. These kids did amazing, like all of them, and it's like they have every right to be proud of themselves and everything. And it's just like this really cool moment where it's like, oh shit, these kids, like they did it, they did it.
Yeah, and All Might's like, honestly, I just got there at the last minute.
Yeah,
you know, he's like, the real ones who stopped them were the kids.
And it's awesome. It was a really big moment, and it's like, oh man, fuck yeah, Class 1A.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's like he's also acknowledging that, because he's always, you know, talked about how he likes supporting all these guys, and he cares a lot about the job.
Yeah,
you know, being a hero and taking it seriously and everything, and he believes in them a lot. But it's just cool seeing him say it.
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
It is really cool.
I keep saying it's cool because it is cool, but
yeah,
not to be redundant.
But it is. What I was going to say is then, either before it or after it at this point, it's all in the same. This is all the finale. We see Kirogiri and Shigaraki.
It was afterwards.
It was afterwards? Okay. We see them in the aftermath. They teleport back
to like a bar.
They teleport to their super secret lair that is some bar in the middle of town. yes, this is their lair. This is some like bar they all hang out.
It's like some like shitty bar. It's got like a karaoke machine in it, or a jukebox. I mean,
Yeah, and like Kirogiri's worn out. Shigaraki's on the floor. He just got shot in all his limbs. Like he fucking bad. And he's mad. He's like, no, like Master, you were wrong. All Might is still strong. Like we got thumped.
Oh yeah, because that's so a couple things. One, we see Kurogiri in his normal like look.
Oh, his body
for the first time.
So his body, but his head is all the smoke and everything.
Yeah, but he's like wearing normal clothes.
Yeah,
and it's like
he's wearing like a sweater vest and like
he's like really dapper.
Like that's what I mean. Like, he is like the Alfred to Shigaraki's Batman. He is very like
It's very interesting because it's just like. So the metal thing was like more of like an armor he goes out in or something.
Yeah.
We're not really sure yet.
Yeah.
But then Shigaraki's basically like, yeah, we were lied to. We got false information. All Might's not weak. Because that was the whole reason they took the shot at this. Was because they had heard All Might was weaker than ever. And this was
their time to kill him.
Their chance to take him down. So they brought in Nomu, hoping to do that, and this basically didn't work, obviously. And so he's pissed and he's yelling. He's just like, yeah, he's not weak. Like, what are you talking about? We didn't get the right information.
Yeah.
And what happens is a voice on like the TV behind him as like some like spooky overlord guy who's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
They call themselves the League of Villains.
Yes, and that is what they go by, is the League of Villains. Which that is another name you're gonna want to remember.
How could I forget?
Well, you forgot the other names. So.
Well, this is cheesy. if like one of the characters was called like Macaroni Grill, I'd be like, I remember that one. Like, I'm gonna remember all of them. See, I'm doing good. I remember Kirogiri.
Yeah.
And Shigaraki.
Yeah.
And Nomu. And All Might.
All Might's easy. But yeah, so anyways, the spooky voice is like, no, we will keep working and you will keep working and whatnot. It's like the League of Villains regroup and everything.
Basically, like this wasn't even a setback.
No.
They were just like, nah. Whoever's on the TV is just like, no, I'm not worried about this.
Yeah. And it's like, who is the spooky voice?
Who's the spooky
Who is it, Chris? Who is the voice?
Who's that Pokemon?
That's like, only I know the secrets.
All right, and at the end of this, like, even in this moment, I'm just thinking, like and I know it's, like, really weird and random, but it's like I'm thinking about, like, Aizawa, and, like, they made that reference, and I'm sure he'll recover. But they were basically like, yeah, there's going to probably be some, like, serious, like, retinal damage.
Yeah.
Like, his eyes are, like, going to be fucked up. And, like, his body is, like, fucking broken in, like, 30 different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck.
They fucked him up.
They fucked him up. And then 13, I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
I'm just thinking about this while the fucking League of Villains is like, we're not worried about how this didn't work.
In fact, we got more. We'll be good.
And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Because the other thing was that they actually found and captured Nomu. They found Nomu in like the middle of like the woods or something, and then they're like, "Oh, we caught him. He's not doing anything, so we're just gonna hang on to him." So it's like, wait, so they captured this big ass tank guy, and it's like, all the minions have been captured. It's like, no, you're not worried about it. It's like
they arrested Nomu.
Yeah,
and it's just like, they arrested Nomu. Yeah, Nomu's just like super passive. Let him handcuff him.
Yeah.
They just take him in. It's like, this is super like red flag all over this scenario. I'm like, why are you keeping it? Like, and it's so close to where everybody.
It's like, put it down now.
It really is. It's like, is nobody gonna report this? Like, are the heroes not informed when these are captured?
Yeah.
Like, hey, All Might, that thing that you punched really hard, we're gonna keep it in the box over in the backyard. It's like, no, can you not?
Can you at least put it down and then study it later? But
Right.
first put it down.
Man, and yeah, Nomu got like fucking flown away, but we see Nomu again, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Like that was the craziest thing.
That thing is
like,
resilient.
All Might,
It was alive.
it was not only alive, but it was physically unharmed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that was the maximum punch from All Might, and this dude was just like, nah. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, whatever Nomu ends up doing beyond this is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna continue if you had any other thoughts about
continue.
Nomu. Well, I was gonna say the last thing with this finale of season 1, it's actually the credits, and it's actually really cool to see the credits kind of playing that theme song, the ending credit song, and you see like clips of the whole like season.
Oh yeah.
It felt very much as like, oh, if this was like the end of the show or something like that. Just like, you know how at the end of the movie they kind of play like little clips or whatnot. That's what it kind of felt like. And then there's a post-credits little stinger.
Yep.
But we basically see Midoriya leaving the nurse's office and actually regrouping with Ochiko and Ida. And it's always nice to see those three together. I like those three together. It's
Yeah,
like
they're a little trifecta.
And Midoriya is basically like, it was something like we didn't realize like how bad things were gonna get. And it pans over to the city, and it kind of pans over to another strange silhouetted figure
Crouching on the precipice of a skyscraper.
Yes, and this figure is not anyone that we had seen in this whole invasion, so it's like, who the hell is that? And then he just kind of licks his lips, and then it goes to a to be continued screen.
Yep, he looks gross. He looks homeless. He looks dirty.
He's got a lot of
Covered
like
in wraps.
a lot of wraps. Yeah,
Yep, he looks messy.
yeah.
Little garbage boy.
It's the trash man.
It's the trash man.
The ultimate villain. He was the voice that was talking to Shigaraki.
Oh my god. So they show this guy, and I'm just like, it's funny because I don't know anything about this character,
Yeah.
but off channel I had mentioned like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, hey, so I saw this pop figure about this dude. That's kind of weird, but I'm gonna finish season 1 of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
And then Danny, you were just like, you were like, he kind of gets like referenced at some point in season 1. Like, you're so close. And then we talked about the guy Shigaraki.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, the guy with the hands. And you're like, you were literally 1 episode away from seeing him for the first time. And I'm like, oh my god, really?
No, and it's like, because we were in this pause before you had resumed it, and it's just like, because I've been wanting you to get into it, because it's like, just wanting you to see your reaction and everything. And yeah, Shigaraki was like 1 or 2 more episodes. This guy is going to be a thing in season 2. You'll see.
Of course.
Yeah, and but yeah, no, it was just so funny that you had seen some sort of like a merch, like a popping or something, and I'm just like, haha, you're almost there, my boy.
Because I see it, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Because I saw the guy with the hands. That's what I had
Shigaraki.
called him until I learned of his name.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell is this? I can't even make sense of it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even guess at possibly what this is. And even knowing what his quirk is, I still don't know what the hands are for. Just like, can he use his hands to be extensions of his quirk? Like, if he throws the hands on someone else, can he like do the disintegration to multiple people? Or are the hands like, are these like the hands of God?
The hands of God.
They both give and take life.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll go ahead and say this. In the time between, when we what?
Sorry, I just had a theory.
Oh, go ahead.
A game.
Game.
I was thinking, what if... It's probably not accurate, but I just want to go on record.
Yeah.
What if when he touches his people and it disintegrates them, somehow that is being transferred into him?
Oh, like he takes his life power, like the life power or something.
Something, I don't know. 'Cause it
I
feels
thought I thought you were gonna say, does it turn into another hand?
No, it's don't. You just get a million hands.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, because the hands on his face, and I know he there was a point where he actually it fell off and he had to put it back on.
Yeah.
During that fight. I don't know. I'm just wondering. There's like cabling. I wonder if there's some sort of transfer of something.
Yeah.
Because his power is not. I don't want to say it's not violent, but it's very controlled.
Yeah.
It's not like literally melting away the person's body. It's like very carefully disintegrating layers very quickly.
Right.
So his power is very curious to me.
Yes. It's a very curious thing.
Very curious. You already know what it is.
Well, so what I was going to say was that in the time between when we last recorded this podcast and now, I had gone on record and had said that I had been caught up with the anime, but I hadn't read the manga, and I hadn't been reading the manga. I have now since switched over, and I not only started reading the manga, I am now completely caught up with the manga.
You are the canon king.
Goodness gracious.
You're aware of all of the crazy My Hero Academia stuff.
No, so as of this recording, just so that way I can make sure that I'm on the right. As of this recording, chapter 291 had come out. I have completely finished that, so I'm completely up to date. I bring this up because only recently did we figure out what those hands were on Shigaraki. So it's going to be a while before you figure what that is.
Damn.
And it's nothing that I can allude to because the very allusion to what it might be is a spoiler in and of itself. So that's
cool. That's cool. There's layers.
There's layers. Yeah. There's layers of Shigaraki, and honestly, it's funny to see him where he's at now because without saying too much, the boy's a fucking wreck in the manga, and it's like, oh no. It's a big oh no moment.
Oh god.
But he's a little monster, and I'm really happy that you've now seen him, because it's like you're like, what the fuck is this? And it's like, yeah, that's going to be a reoccurring theme with him.
Yeah, that exact expression.
Where it's just like, what the fuck?
Yep, that is him.
So on that note, Chris,
ooh,
you have now finished season 1 of My Hero Academia.
I know. Did you think we'd get here?
I am sure happy we did. I'm glad we made it.
Wow.
But final thoughts as far as season 1.
Oh man, season 1, jeez.
Of MHA.
I mean, full thoughts. I think it's fucking rad. Like, I don't have anything critical to say. But if I did, it's like, really season 1 literally is a season that both starts the entire show, but it can't, the way it ends, it so very much needs further seasons.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's what it's supposed to, that's the point. You know. But it definitely does a good job. I like how it starts off, like, easy, if that's the right word. You know, it's like, oh, the hero, there's heroes and villains, and it's like a world of super characters, super people. And Midori is just some, like, weakling little boy. But he wants to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, then he gets his chance to be a hero, and he's going to school. and there's all these classes, and it's like, this is the academia part of the My Hero Academia. And then it feels like this kind of cool superhero school show.
Yeah.
But then it turns into real life, basically, for all the characters really quickly when the villains invade.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that it has that transition through the season, whereas the first 2 episodes are like I had mentioned before, it's like literally just watching the first episode, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But the first 2 episodes are needed to live together. But those first 7 episodes start with very different tones.
Yeah.
And then it transitions to this tone of like, yeah, the world's full of bad guys and they do fucked up shit. You're in class having fun, but really the real world out there is not it's not a safe place.
Yeah.
Needs heroes all the time. And I just think it's cool that they had that a transitioning theme. Starting off with it's very simple, then it goes to fun, then it gets serious.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going to go from here other than probably more fun and more serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you've referenced the tournament arc, and I can only imagine what that's like.
Well, I mean, like, okay, this is a Shonen Jump anime. Of course it's a tournament arc. Every Shonen Jump has to have a tournament arc.
Cut to Dragon Ball that has like fucking 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Every tournament. There's always a tournament.
There's always a tournament. Yes. Well, I also reference it because it is the first arc of season 2. So when we do begin season 2, you will be in the tournament arc. Yeah. And
going back to school.
There you go. No, I'm glad that you watched this, and it's funny because it's like rewatching season 1. It really is the introduction to everything, because from here on out, it's like, especially season 2, it doesn't like delay like with the stuff. It like see when you watch season 2, you'll see the first episode. It jumps right to like what we're gonna be watching, what we're gonna be seeing. Like it's like, all right, here we go. Get ready for this. Buckle up.
And that's good, because I mean, this season was very much the full. This season was the setup season.
Yeah.
For the entire show, like, it does make sense. Whereas like you really do have to watch the entire first season to understand really everything that's happening.
Yeah.
In just the idea of the show itself.
Yeah.
And I look forward to season 2.
Yeah. No,
it's gonna be cool. I'm very intrigued. This season had lots of I don't want to say ups and downs. Like the downs aren't bad, but it was like
high points and like mellow points.
Yeah, it's like, you had like your okay, cool, things are happening. Oh shit, and then it's like, okay, cool, we're cruising again, and then it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the shit that the future of this show is gonna pull.
Yeah.
And I've done a pretty good job remaining spoiler free for pretty much the entire show, really.
No, and I'm glad.
The only scene I know of is the one that we've talked about before. That is what the
one that's
like
kind of
chipped away.
Yeah.
And cracked my interest into My Hero Academia.
Yeah, and we will discuss that very soon. Mm-hmm. We will discuss that.
We've mentioned it on our Jump Force video.
We did, yes.
We talked about that a lot. But yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say?
That My Hero Academia is pretty fucking rad.
That our audience should check it out if they haven't already.
Should you?
Yes. I don't know. Why are you watching this if you haven't watched the show? What are you doing?
They've lived the first season through us now.
But it's like, you can't. No, you gotta go watch it.
Yeah, if you're gonna take this as like, I felt like I watched the show.
No.
I'm sorry that you feel like we've done a good job at that.
It's not even just that we've done a good job. It's that it's like we can't possibly provide enough justice to like the visual aspect of the show and everything. It's like, no, go watch it.
It's like watching our gaming videos on Core 4 Gaming for speedrunning tactics.
Exactly.
It's like, don't.
It's like, don't do that. That's not what we do.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. But anyways, yes.
Let us know your favorite moments from season 1, My Hero Academia.
Let us know what you look forward to us watching next. Can't say season 2 talk will come soon, but Chris,
it's on the docket, and I do want to kind of crunch it really as soon as possible.
there you go.
We're kind of juggling a lot of things.
You heard it here first, everybody. Chris is officially on the bandwagon for My Hero Academia. It's been a long time coming, but we got him. We got him good.
We got him good.
We got him, guys. We got him.
Because I want to understand the show and the references and the memes.
Chris is one of us now.
I need
One
to know.
of us. One of us. Yeah, no, so we will continue with season 2 sometime soon.
Yeah, because we also have to commit to our Dr. Stone.
Yes, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't forget about Dr. Stone. It's been a
Never.
little while. We're gonna do Dr. Stone pretty soon. We're gonna come back
just
to
being busy with all of our like 3 full-time jobs.
Yes, we have personal lives here. It's very hard to do this stuff sometimes, but we will.
We're doing it as often as we can.
Exactly.
We're committed.
And that's fine.
So if there's not an upload for a little bit, don't get scared.
Don't be spooked.
Just
We're still
relax.
here.
It's
We're
okay.
still
We're
here.
still here with you.
It ain't over.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Plus
So
Ultra.
yeah, exactly. But on that note, I think that this has been a fine discussion video. I'm glad that you enjoyed season 1 to the end, and
Season 1 was fucking hot.
and it's only gonna get hotter. So
Whoa. Indeed.
indeed. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen,
Let us know in the comments about other stuff you want us to talk about.
because we got a lot we can talk about. There's a lot of potential for anything to be talked about. So
Hey, that's what we do here.
yeah, exactly. So let us know what you want to hear us talk about, whether it be anime or anything else related. While you're at it, go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure to ring the dinner bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. What's for dinner? It's your 3rd helping of academia. Hit that bell button. You'll be sure to get the next serving.
Yep, we scraped all of season 1 pots empty, so we're gonna.
Man, we finished we got that last little bit out of the pot.
I know. Now we got the pot for season 2.
Well, we gotta cook it.
Well,
first.
yeah, we're filling up the pot.
Look, the pot. Okay, no. You need to clean the dish first, and then we'll start making it. I'll start making. I get the flour out and everything. Well, that dish is gonna need some time.
Yes, but we will clean it. We will start prepping the food,
Yeah.
and then you will get your first helping of season 2 My Hero Academia.
Exactly.
The second it's ready, because it has
We'll use the good crock pot so that way it's not too long, but it's gonna.
But it still has to simmer.
It has to simmer.
Still gotta.
We gotta throw the little ingredients. We can't rush it.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
It's about length.
Exactly.
We want to give you a good girthy helping of season 2.
Exactly. So until then, thank you for watching, and take care, everyone. We will see you next time.
Yeah. Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.